Hello, we would like to welcome you all within this series, KnowTalks, with Dr. Khalid Al-Wazani. He is the Chairman Jordan Investment Commission and also is member in the Knowledge Council. This session
الصوت انقطع من عندي والصورة سوري.
هلو دكتور خالد.
أهلا ستيفاني.
أهلا.
ما عندي صوت ولا صورة.
صح. الظاهر عند أنتوني انقطعت الكهرباء، فيلا دقيقة بيكون بيرجع معنا. عفوا.
Okay.
Sorry, apparently it was a technical problem.
At the start, I would like to thank Dr. Khalid in making this index a success. And always he is enthusiastic to participate, and we are now waiting to benefit from his experience. Dr. Khalid, can you please speak to us about the global knowledge index in economy and what is the sub-aspects of it? Thank you, Anthony. It's really a pleasure to be with you. And I am honored to be within the central team for the Global Knowledge Index. And Mohammed bin Rashid, the Foundation for Knowledge, has done a great effort, especially when we talk about the importance of knowledge. People who reach to the highest level in economy and sustainability in the world, they are the nations who paid special attention to the knowledge and to the different elements of this knowledge. Today I will be speaking about the economy, but as you see, and there's a central team who worked on compiling this indicator and index, and every pillar of these aspects is very important for all nations and also for decision makers and researchers, especially who are specialized in the issues of knowledge. And today we are very keen to participate with Mohammed bin Rashid Knowledge Foundation, and they have done a great effort in the history of the world, especially after 2012, after the World Bank stopped issuing this index, and it's considered the only index that's covering an important sectors. When we speak about knowledge, people think about education, but here we are talking about three other sections: the education in different aspects, and also we are talking about vocational and technical training and university education, which is very important. When we speak about education straight away, we got through the importance of ICT and the importance of communicating this knowledge in general. And here we have the importance of this aspect. And building on that, the whole world is talking about innovation and development. And this indicator, has got wide impact. The structure of that is what's happening in the economy, which is based on the elements of education and also the elements of ICT. So economy come to be the pot where the importance of knowledge stemmed out, and also it impacted on the development of the nations. And here we find the advanced nations, they are advanced also in the economy, and also that enable the environment in different sectors, in services and in different service. When we speak about the global index indicator, as we can see on the screen, we speak about the different sectors that I mentioned, and we see that each sector, it has got different sub-sectors. And as we can see on the next slide, to 133 variables. And now when we measure the knowledge, it's not about the integration of the sectors, but also it's now in details went to these sectors to make sure that each aspect of these aspects have been covered with the different variables. And now these aspects and variables, which are diversified, is now a one index that the decision maker or the researcher or anyone who is interested in knowledge to build an information on this country. And we are pleased here to speak in 2020, regardless of the challenges that the whole world now is going through because of COVID-19. 136 countries around the world now paying special attention to this index because it's a unique one globally. And now there are people that want to build the future of their countries and to take decisions. So I spoke about the economical indicator. You will find there is main aspects covered in the economy. So we can have the economical structure is known like competitiveness and value added within 22 variables, and also taking interest in two things. The first one being connected with the other aspects vertically with education, innovation, and also information technology or ICT, or even enabling environment. And horizontally, when we speak about what we can see on the screen, when we talk about the knowledge competition, that's very important to have a good infrastructure. And the whole world now is open to compete. All economies want to reach the niche, which is to reach to the whole world and penetrate the markets. This is very unique, especially when we talk about economy openness, that the whole nation now is adopting. Why we say it's the base? Because economy exchange between the countries, we look at it as like some people say it's import and export, but all export and imports is based on knowledge exchange, how this product is made, and also to have experience how it's made and about the quality of it. So it's an accumulative knowledge between nations, and COVID-19 proved for the whole world that no country can solve its issues regardless of its level. It needs to be open to the other countries. And there is different sayings. COVID-19 need physical distancing, but dealing with it, we need to get closer economically in order to exchange knowledge and experiences about how to deal with it, and also to continue supply chains. Here, there's a added value for each country in the third aspect to help the others and being unique in it. So this added value for each country, you need finance, and also you need encouraging policies, which is very important when you see in front of you talking about competitiveness and also open economy and added value. Through this, any country can be unique from the others in the issue of knowledge and sustainability, sustainable development. When we talk about the comprehensive structure, as we can see in this slide, to what limit the central team, they did a great effort As you know, UNDP also participated and they provided good governance in these different indicators. And so what we can see on the slide, it has been participated with a team on a central level. It's true that we were aspects, but also we participated together in different sessions in order to gather this indicator till we reached to the sub indicators that we can see it on the screen. And maybe next time we can see it. But when we say to knowledge competition, the base for transferring this knowledge is the amount or the ease of working in the economy, how we can go in and out, how we can contract with it. So COVID-19 today, and talk about the logistical dimension and the role of technology in this area. When we say competition, there's different areas for that. And it's said here, the countries need not only to simplify their actions and processes, but also they need to pioneer in their work. And here we introduce the Index of Entrepreneurship and how people access in and out, and also in addition to the provision of capital and how knowledge is transferred from a country to another. When we say also about open economy, which is under one of the sub aspects, we can find clearly to simplify our way of dealing between the countries. And here I would like to indicate the meeting with the G20 that happened yesterday in Riyadh. This meeting indicated clearly within international reports that all countries need to minimize the customs hindrances in order to deal with COVID-19 and so to transfer the knowledge between its countries. And here I'm talking about innovation and economy, so I need to talk about the role of exports between the countries. Even though the countries, also the services between the countries is very important. And ICT, which has got the main role in helping the whole world in dealing with COVID-19 today, we can remember how the smart application that have been exchanged between the countries to deal with the health sector and also to support the economy had a great impact in how the countries dealt with COVID-19. So as open as where these countries open, it can deal with the different crises that they are facing, and COVID-19 is one example. So when we talk about the Global Knowledge Index, it's not about one case like COVID-19, even if it's international, but also we talk about how these countries, they are able and capable to be open to the economy and also to own the knowledge and have the ability to transform and also export this knowledge and have economical development. These 17 sustainable SDG start with fighting poverty and also famine between the countries, but also it's very important in number 17 from these SDGs is partnership. So to have complete partnership dealing with the economy and entering the private sector and NGOs in the community. This is very important in dealing or adopting the knowledge and development in the future. The, the final section that we focus at, finance and tax. In addition to the added value, the added value is very easy to understand. So if there is resources and also income resources that can be used for economical development, the development here in the country will be huge. Why? Because the added value is adding more resources to the economy and more important, adding knowledge to these resources, especially when we talk about the skilled labors. And it is the base for dealing with the people transformation, so how to transform and transfer the technological knowledge, tourism, and even services. When we speak about tax and finance, people say why we focus on these topics. Because simply, when the tax policies encourage investment and also prefer it, so knowledge will transfer easily to this country and make it more capable in dealing with its resources. And when we talk here about the fourth industrial revolution and artificial intelligence, it is very important, which is very important. And when we get inside this sector, we need to, in front of the decision makers, we need to put these sectors on the table and more efficient finance. As you know, without having enough finance for investment and economy to function, knowledge will not develop and economy will not going bigger and bigger. So in order not to take more from your time, each pillar from these pillars, competitiveness or even economy openness or added value, here we talk about the level of knowledge in the country. So if there is better knowledge and better level of this, there will be more development and more advanced, and the economy will be in a better knowledge situation, and that was proven by the studies in the global knowledge index. And I would like to mention when we did the research, me and my team in this index, UNDP and Muhammad Rashid Foundation, they insisted that who gather this information and get the index is a specialist team, not the central team, in order to have a wise governance and between the value of it, in order not to say that Khalid Al-Wazani from Jordan, so he will look at the sub-indicators to have Jordan number 1 or 2, or when this index is from UAE, so we focus on the indicator that make UAE is better. But the reality, these numbers reflect the 3 pillars in a realistic way and with wise governance, with high objectivity. So I am really rest assured when I talk about the order of these countries regarding the knowledge level and also about the other sectors according to the knowledge index. And I always hope that we develop this index. And always, I hope the decision maker will look at this index with a great importance and with a great attention to take their important decisions. Researchers also can focus on it, and also they can give us the feedback about how to deal with it and how to develop it. And even people with interest, they can find the great knowledge and the great information that help to make their decisions wisely. And thank you, Anthony, and thank you for everybody. Anthony, please unmute your mic. Thank you very much, Dr. Khalid. I had a technical problem. Thank you for this general picture. You spoke about the important thing, the G20 paid attention about the custom hindrances, and we have seen most countries, their policies talked about taxes and how they ease taxes on companies to encourage their survival. But when we look about the structure of the economical index, this is very unique that this approach was bought in 2017. But if we put it in the current context, COVID-19, we can see it can go in harmony, and it will give decision makers an assistant and assessment for the current situation in order to make policies to respond. McKinsey expected that with the recovery plan, it will be digitalized, and we have seen to have the most advanced technology and logistic elements. When they bought this indicator in 2017, has been put to give a picture about the solid economy against these issues, or not to have impact on it? Thank you, Anthony, for this important question. When COVID-19 started, this indicator, which was developed in 2017 to be a global index, it takes into consideration what the economies really need. And I look now about who need to work on this COVID-19.
And how to deal with this period of the time of pandemic COVID-19, how to deal with it. How can we deal, how can we treat professionally with this period? You know, when I have a look at the economic development, you know, I find an index, the most country who is talking about OSCE and the logistics support, who are dealing with the logistics support, they talk about and that IT, technological information, that they do have the ability to deal with the COVID-19, but they still face the challenges here. But if we look here, that we should help the knowledge to that we have to realize that the knowledge is accepting or adapted with the progress and development. This is we have to highlight on that, whether the knowledge will be supported or the knowledge will be developed or you know, go towards the progress, then we will have to realize and to analyze this kind of development. And the indexes and the logistic index, or the index is the main factor to stand by or to specify the gaps that push you to be very secure in all economical sector. And I think the audience, please, if you have a question, please you can write it down here on the below of the screen. The scholarism, or about the economical openness, how those countries respond to the international changes. Do you think that some countries are having some challenges when they want to adapt with the challenges and the changes that the world and the international community has? Yes. If we have a look at the beginning of COVID-19, the reports were confused and hesitated. Many countries locked down the whole borders and the whole airports and some other countries. And about, if you want to have a look at the economical index of their efforts, many countries has technological efforts and support and health and medical aids and medical support all those countries who succeeded to get this logistic support, they blocked their borders. Then they have already a bad impact on their economic situation. And the reports that the OECD reports were indicated, and this is not the time to have taxes or to impose VATs on the customer, on the goods and on the items. And this is when I have a look at the Knowledge Index 2020, that all those countries who were normally open to the international community, they canceled and they deleted and the VAT, and they have exchange import and the export. They succeeded when they eradicate the taxes and they eliminate the VATs and their with selling and buying, importing. And those countries, they could have the ability to develop their economy. I think there is a technical, the sound is muted. Yes, it is. I think you can hear me, Mr. Khalid. Yes, I can hear you. Anthony, yeah, the Zoom, the first question here, how can, muted, once again, the sound is muted. I think he's lost. I think this electrical, could.
نعم دكتور خالد، عفوا دقيقة وأنطوني بيرجع بيكون معنا.
A minute, he will again, no problem. He's coming back soon. Shortly, he will be online.
عفوا دكتور خالد، رح تابع لكن لبينما كان رجع أنطوني.
دكتور خالد please.
رح أطرح سؤال من
I'm going just to
أنطوني رجع معنا.
And I think this is technical error, technical problems happened with the, and I'm going to repeat the question because I couldn't hear it. How can the poor country, how can the poor country move to be more richer and having a powerful economics? I think this is one of the most important question that always we are asked. Many asked us about this, actually about the decision maker, that the components of the economic knowledge that help the countries only the decision makers in those poor countries must do something. The decision makers in those countries must move forward. They must open their border. They must cooperate. Anyone who prevent and protect the economical cooperation, the decision makers in those poor countries are responsible for, I'm sorry, responsible for an open economical borders and unlimited cooperation with the rich countries. So that they can achieve a sustainable economic development. They can can go with easier economical procedures. This is we have to go through. We have to facilitate. We have to make everything easier for the people to make their own, to share the people, to allow them to share their ideas and to be a part of the decision making. And when they have to take some decision that links with the development. And there is no poor country, there is no rich countries, there is no. I think the poverty, the poor is minds here. The poverty in minds, not in performance. And there is another question. Do you think some Arab countries which lives or which have low developments and they're having some challenges, do you think about those Arab countries? How can those decision makers be well adapted to the pandemic COVID-19? How can they take the appropriate decisions here to develop their economics? And those countries who don't have, or they don't develop their information technology, then, but they don't need more years and to develop their economics, because the artificial intelligence is very important and necessary for each society and for each community. The decision makers in those countries, they have to be very serious in order to develop, because they have to invest in a human. They have to invest the humanity. They have to instill to get the human resources, to develop their human resources, and they have to be very innovative, and they have to increase their creativity, and they have to move innovation and all those countries who don't want to go forward in order to have a developed economics, they will be far away, and they will be far away from from the stable economics. They won't be in a good economical situations for their, and that's why the poverty will be increased. Thank you. You know, there are some countries, some companies depends on the IT, and some other companies, they don't depend on the information and the ideological technological aids. What's the difference here? This is an important question. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, God bless him, and he awarded more than 100 companies from the world, and many of them from Jordan, because the companies or the early beginning company, the early beginners, because they have, His Highness wants to encourage them to go forward in order to empower their economics. And because those young companies, they have to be developed, and His Highness Mohammed bin Rashid encouraged them to do that. And even the agriculture, even the technology, all countries, or many factors, many companies, they are ill established, but still they started to grow the people, to educate the people, to train its people. The industry it will be the pioneer in each country. You told me about the human resources to invest the human resources is very important. About how can connect in Arab countries, how can we connect? We have many educational problems here in our area, in the Arab countries. We have many, and how to, many problems to move to the virtual connections, to distance learning. How can we manage it? How can we? And the index was, the knowledge index was very weak. We didn't stand on the gaps. We should not talk about the knowledge index that we have, that we are having. We should talk about the quality of education, the quality of learning, and we have to evaluate the information that the learners receive. This is we have to do. We have to, when we focus on when we talk about the economic knowledge index, the economics, we concentrate on the skillful workers. We concentrated on work. We didn't focus on the software, and how we didn't focus on the quality of education. But we have to differentiate between certificate and the graduate. The graduate must be well qualified in order to achieve the creativity and achieve the innovation. And there is another question here about the economic openness. And about, do you think it has an impact on political changes? Do you think the difference between politics and economy, we have to, when we talk about the innovative economics, we have to talk about the policies, not the politicians. We have to talk about the policy, not about politicians. When the communist countries previously, they were surrounded, they didn't open their economic, they were very poor countries. So then about China, Russia, now when they have opened their economic and they opened their borders, they have 180 changed. They have changed, completely developed. Any country surrounded, any country blocked its border, it will be down and down and down. And any country opens borders and open economic, it will be on the top. And what are do you think the economic openness, and whatever the country is, do you think it has to be economic open? Is it imposed on the country? Do you think, is it imposed? How can we evaluate that? The general response, every country blocked itself and blocked its door and not opened, and they will be down. They are down. No country now can live and have a sustainable life depending on their own resources. They have to open their country. Any country depends on its own resources, won't have a successful performance, successful life. They have to push the country, the economics, the policy to be competitive, to have a competition, economic competition, and this is, it will, the index will be affected. Now our axes are clear. When we talk about our economics, we talked about the competition, and we have particular index. It's called the local competition. We have to encourage the local competition, that we have to grow the local products in order to have a powerful economics. And about the economic openness, it depends on appropriate decision, a positive decision, in order to have a competition, to have a good quality of economic, to have a good quality of, and to provide jobs and careers for and have a sustainable developments for. We are having many questions but we want to merge the questions here. Many countries, who talks about debits, about we have supports and finalize those debits and the benefits and the profits, or to eliminate the debits. How can we talk about this? About the supporting financial support. The financial support, it indicates the appropriate or excellent banking or financial process in the country. And those European countries, they represent half of the world economic, and the first thing that you want to help the poor country to reduce their debits, to support their economics. It should not, those debits not to be a heavy loads on those poor countries. And why should not we support those poor countries at the time of COVID-19? Why? We should their ability to face the challenges. Many economics loses, and they lost many things at the time of COVID-19. And many countries blocked their borders for some time. We should talk about the government support to the local companies. Now, the best country, any country who support their local companies, they have succeeded and they achieved a successful. And many countries has been stocked, many countries were damaged because in the tourist tourism sector, economical sector, the local economics, and especially those countries who depends on tourism and on tourism sector. This has have been clearly affected by COVID-19, but about the rich country supported the local. They have not, and yes, and the rich countries support their economic, and they realize the dangers of this period, and this was really successfully achieved, and we have to go to have an important development. How can we develop the agriculture sector and this agriculture sector? How can we develop the agricultural sector? I think the health and agricultural sector, they were very important in this time, especially when they provide the food and the health. The agriculture approved that the agriculture is more important than other sectors, and they could indicate, they could be very well adapted with this critical time. The agricultural proved their ability to be adapted and to face the challenges at this critical bit. The agriculture support sector, and this is they proved that the agriculture is the most important, and it plays vital role in the infrastructures of the country economic. Another question? And what's the government entities, how they got the benefits of the knowledge, the government entity. And this is very good question. And what do we have at the moment? What do we have at the moment? What we have done at the beginning of February, how they we have to put, the government put up a plan how to deal with business continuity then, and what are the opportunities to be provided during the COVID-19. Then we have to change to information technology. Completely, we moved to the information technology. All the services used to do technologically and in a virtual programs. So as we are working on Zoom now, and we also use the Zoom from the investors from the abroad, from inside the country and outside the country. We have to be very well adapted with the technological aids, and this is very positive. We have to go to back to the knowledge index, and the country can overcome. They can achieve the period. They can deal with it proficiently. And we have the International Knowledge Index which contains, and what is the role of the global knowledge index? How the index support and empower the economical situation in all countries. Today, the knowledge index prove that cover all parts and cover all gaps and let the whole decision makers realize to have a sustainable development. About the environment particularly is, and this prove that to enable the environment, enabling environment is going to have a very important and look after the industrial, also the environmental factors must also be well adapted with COVID-19, and it has to Mohammed bin Rashid establishment. And when they put up this index, we did not expect, but they put up this index to cover and all the decision makers, all the official entities trying to improve their developments. And what are the interaction between the government and you know, we are some Arab countries, they are suffering from the random. I'm not a professional in politics, but I'm professional in policies. No, no. The answer is no. Actually, the thing that we have, that UAE, we are proud of the UAE. It was on the top. They were on the top of the knowledge index, and they are achieving, and the UAE are achieving a very excellent economic developments and looked after all the entities. I don't, as we can't cover, yeah. Actually, we have to get the people also to have an economical awareness as well. So they must know that we must aware our people to have this kind of awareness. And what? Actually, we are having. What are the best recommendation for the decision maker? What are the recommendation that you advise the decision makers and the people of the companies? The consumer is playing a very important part as well. Do you think you said that the item also move from place to another? You said, sir. I don't want to say recommendation in general, but the international reports, we have to take the international report seriously. We have to study them. The database and the knowledge and we have the decision maker must look carefully at the international reports and how to deal and how to implement those recommendations and the gaps in his country or her country. And those reports, it's very excellent. Though the International Bank reports, they are very important. We have to look at them. We should look at them. We should that those reports must be they must study and by experts in the country. the expert, the economic expert must study those international reports in order to narrow the gap, in order to, we should also know, we should identify what's the number of my country or the decision maker country on the index. What is the number in the international community? They should have, the experts must support and develop in the knowledge, they should develop the growth. They should develop the knowledge. No real developments without knowledge. There is no real developments without knowledge. And they have to cover the seven sectors and the decision. They have to develop the educational sector, economic sector, agriculture sector, all the sectors, all the entities must be developed. And when we come to the private sector, also they have to learn, they have to have a look at the knowledge index. And we have to, and when we have appropriate decision, how to expand the trade or to improve the products and to interfere and to go to new markets, we should very accurate to have the quality of products. When we go back to the consumer, and he's one of the main in this organizational structure, the consumer may not know about the reports or the structure of the economy, but also here the consumer we are only care about the standards of education, the quality of education. The individuals now these days, if they want to grow or want to uprise the educational, they have to be very aware. They have to be very professional. They have to be efficient in order to achieve and perform and to produce and to have the best quality of products. And the private sector and the public sector also, they both have to go, they have to work together because the individual is the basic. And actually, thank you, Dr. Khalid. And actually, thank you very much, Mohammed bin Rashid, Knowledge Index. Thank you for, and actually we are in need, especially in our country here, in the Arab country, we are in need to such association, to such a program, to such awareness. And also we are in need to the knowledge for all. And we are, thank you very much for all. Thank you very much. Shukran, thank you. Thank you for the interpreters. Thank you for the interpreters, the translators. Thank you very much for all you all. Thank you. I thank for Mohammed bin Rashid, Jamal bin Huwairib. Thank you very much for him. And I know the knowledge index is very important for the locally and internationally. It's very important. I'm very proud of you all. Thank you very much for you all. And thank you. I'm proud of you all. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. We have to memorize, remind the people that we are going to email you to be with us here and you are going to have a look at the consequences of the knowledge index. Thank you.